What happens when a killer is never caught? They become ghosts in our history. Their horrific crimes whispered about for decades, from the gaslit alleys of Victorian London to the baffling forensic nightmares of the modern age. Some killers have simply slipped through the cracks of justice, leaving behind a legacy of terror and so many unanswered questions. Tonight, we're looking at the most chilling unsolved murders that continue to haunt the United Kingdom. These are the cases where the trail went cold, the evidence vanished, and the killers seemingly disappeared into thin air. For the families, there are no answers. For the public, there's just a lingering sense of fear. Our story begins in the autumn of 1888, in the gritty, impoverished Whitechapel district of East London. A series of brutal murders terrorized the city and created a legend that still endures. The killer, known only as Jack the Ripper, targeted women in the dark alleys and slums, leaving their bodies horrifically mutilated. At least 5 women, Mary Ann Nichols, Annie Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, and Mary Jane Kelly, are considered as canonical victims. The awful nature of their wounds, which sometimes included the removal of internal organs, led many people at the time to believe the killer must have had some surgical knowledge. That's a point that's still debated today. The slayings sparked a media frenzy and widespread panic. The killer even taunted the police and press with letters, though most of them are now thought to be hoaxes. Despite a massive investigation and a list of over 100 suspects ranging from doctors and butchers to even a member of the royal family, the identity of Jack the Ripper was never discovered. In recent years, modern DNA analysis on a shawl, said to belong to one of the victims, pointed to a Polish barber named Aaron Kazm. But these findings are heavily disputed, and the case officially remains one of the world's most famous unsolved mysteries. Now, fast forward a full century from Jack the Ripper's reign of terror, and it felt like history was repeating itself, this time in the northwest of England. In the late 1980s and early 90 segundas, a killer de presse, dubbed the East Lancashire Ripper, began targeting women. Started in October 1988, when the body of 31-year-old Linda Donaldson was found in a ditch in Leigh. She had been stabbed multiple times, and the crime immediately drew comparisons to the Ripper's. Just over 2 years later, in January 1991, the dismembered body of Maria Cristina Requena was discovered only a few miles away. Both women were sex workers, and their bodies were found in rural spots near the East Lancashire Road. The killer had taken their clothing and belongings, which suggested they were trying to cover their tracks. Other murders, like that of Julie Finley in 1994, have also been speculatively linked to the case. Investigators even wondered if the killer might have been inspired by a documentary about Jack the Ripper that aired right around the time of the first murder. But despite the strong suspicion that this was the work of a serial killer, no forensic link between the cases was ever found, and the East Lancashire Ripper was never caught. This final case feels like it was ripped straight out of a spy movie. In August 2010, Gareth Williams, a 31-year-old codebreaker for GCHQ, on assignment with MI6, just didn't show up for work. When police entered his London flat, they found something truly bizarre. Williams' naked and decomposing body was inside a red North Face duffel bag, which had been padlocked from the outside and placed in his bathtub. The scene was baffling. There were no signs of a break-in, and strangely, Williams' DNA wasn't found on the padlock. Tests showed no poison or drugs in his system. So, could he have done it to himself? Experts tried to see if it was even possible for a person to lock themselves inside that kind of bag. They concluded it was nearly impossible. A coroner ruled his death was unnatural and likely to have been criminally mediated. Theories swirled. Was he killed by foreign agents to silence him over his work investigating international money laundering? Yet, a later police review concluded he probably died alone in some kind of tragic accident. Even a forensic review, completed in 2023, reportedly yielded no new DNA evidence, leaving the case at a total standstill. To this day, the death of the spy in the bag remains one of Britain's most perplexing modern mysteries. The killers in these cases may have escaped justice, but their stories are a chilling reminder of the darkness that can exist. What's your theory on these infamous cold cases? Let us know in the comments below. And if you find these mysteries as compelling as we do, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the unknown. From Jack the Ripper to the spy in the bag, these cases are more than just unsolved crimes. They're haunting chapters in British history. They show the limits of police investigations, both then and now. and highlight the devastating reality for families who may never get the justice they deserve. Until new evidence finally surfaces, the truth behind these shocking murders remains just out of reach.